Hey guys, what's up? I'm Ashley and I'm back to talk to you about all things A Song of Ice and Fire. In today's video, I would like to discuss something I heard in last night's Season 7 premiere. I would like to cover none other than Euron Greyjoy. During his scene with Jaime and Cersei, Euron Greyjoy proposes marriage to Cersei. At the end, he makes the comment, "Here I am, with 1,000 ships in 2 good hands." Now, the 2 good hands comment really stuck with me, and right away I started thinking, what could someone do with 2 good hands? Well, what better could someone do with 2 good hands than to choke the life out of someone else? I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds like it could be a huge tease as to the fate of Cersei and answer the question as to who's the Valonqar. For those who don't know, the Valonqar is a prophetic figure that was spoken of by Maggie the Frog. Maggie the Frog is a fortune teller from Lannisport. Cersei visited Maggie back in Cersei's youth to get foretellings of her future. Now, among several things, Maggie the Frog told Cersei that after the deaths of her 3 children, the Valonqar would wrap his hands around her pale white throat and choke the life from her. We're never told who the Valonqar is. In fact, all we know is that the word Valonqar translates to mean little brother in High Valyrian. Something else interesting we know about this is that Maester Aemon believes there can be gender-neutral words in High Valyrian. This is evidenced by his belief that the word used to indicate the prince that was promised in the prophecy foretelling of this prince could have been indicating a princess as well. So, who's to say that there aren't other gender-neutral words in High Valyrian and that Valonqar isn't one of them? The Valonqar could be anyone, male or female, so long as this person isn't the eldest in their line of siblings. I believe that Euron Greyjoy fits the bill perfectly, and I am going to tell you why killing Cersei would be nothing to this man. We know from samples of Winds of Winter that Euron kidnaps his brother, Aeron Damphair, and forces him to drink Shade of the Evening. The Damphair has multiple visions, and among them 2 stand out. First, Euron Bloodeye on the Throne of Skulls, and later, Euron is a kraken-like figure with tentacles on the Iron Throne with a woman by his side. The first vision is likely representative of everything Euron did to ascend the Salt Throne, and we know he paved the way with the blood of his kin. In his youth, he murdered his half-brother Harlan. Harlan had grayscale, which had turned his mouth to stone. So Euron pinched his nose shut because Harlan could not call out for help or breathe through his mouth. Euron murdered another half-brother, Robin. We aren't told how Euron did this, just that Robin died young. Given that Robin was noted to be sickly, like Harlan, he made an easy target and his death was likely just as brutal. Euron also murdered his full brother, Balon. In the books, he hired a faceless man to do the assassination, and in the show, Euron did the deed himself. In any event, Balon was thrown from a bridge he'd attempted to cross during a storm. So it would seem that the skulls are a clear metaphorical representation of death, and we know Melisandre sees skulls in her visions and takes them to signify death, so it's not a crazy assumption to think that skulls would appear in another religious prophet's visions and mean the same thing. The later vision is likely a foreshadow of Euron becoming king of Westeros and marrying Cersei. In the books, we know Euron has a booty call, Phalia Flowers. Aeron knows this and has interacted with Phalia, so he knows what she looks like. If it had been Phalia in the vision standing next to Euron, the Damphair would have said it. But instead, the Damphair said it was a woman standing beside Euron. This implied that Aeron doesn't know this woman, so she couldn't be Phalia. Now, we have no record of Aeron Damphair ever having been in Cersei's presence, so we could assume then that he wouldn't know what she looks like. It stands to reason that Aeron would refer to her as a woman if he saw her in a vision. It also makes sense that this woman is Cersei because she's the only woman in King's Landing with strong ties to the Iron Throne. And if the books turn out to do with her plot what the show did, she will be the only woman with ties to the Iron Throne. So for me, all roads point to Cersei being the mystery woman that Aaron saw. Now again, we don't know if the books will match what happens in the show, but it's looking like a marriage to seal a Greyjoy-Lannister alliance will happen in both. We know Euron would do anything for power, a marriage being the least of it. However, any self-respecting Ironborn could never let the title of king just pass to him by marriage. He would have to pay the iron price to get it, meaning he'd have to kill for a crown. Paying the iron price for a crown isn't new to Euron either. He murdered his brother Balon to precipitate a kingsmoot, which coincided perfectly with his return from a lengthy exile. So, if Euron did it once, why not do it again to claim a bigger and better prize, the Seven Kingdoms? The textual evidence is supported by content from the show as well. In Season 6, Episode 9, Daenerys forms an alliance with Theon and Yara Greyjoy. The following is a conversation from that scene. Euron's offer is also an offer of marriage, you see. You can't get one without the other, said Yara, referring of course to the Iron Fleet. Moments later, Theon adds, he murdered our father and would have murdered us. He'll murder you as soon as you have what he wants. Then Tyrion says, the Seven Kingdoms, and then Theon finishes with all of them. So, if Euron would kill Daenerys once she got him what he wanted, why wouldn't he do the same to Cersei? I think this was a huge foreshadow of one of the biggest mysteries plaguing fans, and that is who will kill Cersei. Which brings us back to the Valonqar prophecy. We know that the Valonqar, or little brother, will choke the life from Cersei after she's mourned the deaths of her children. At this point in the show, all of Cersei's children have died, so it would seem her own death is imminent. As has been mentioned already, Euron will have to murder Cersei to pay the iron price for his crown. Now, what's the favored way of Ironmen to pay the iron price? Could it be drowning as tribute to their drowned god? We do know that when a person drowns, they choke because they can't breathe. So it would seem that Euron drowning Cersei to pay the proper dues for his crown fits the Valonqar prophecy perfectly. Not only does he have the means to kill her, but he is not the eldest of his 9 siblings, so he's definitely a candidate. So this brings me back to Euron's original comment in last night's episode about having 2 good hands. This was clearly a jape made to mock Jaime's only having 1 hand, and it was pretty effing funny. However, in addition to carnal pleasures, 2 good hands could also be used to wrap around someone's throat and choke them. In my opinion, David and Dan just gave us a huge second foreshadow of Cersei's fate. So there you go, folks. Those are all the reasons why I think Euron Greyjoy is the Valonqar. And that will do it for today. I am Ashley of Noth. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, and I'd also like to give a huge shout out to my Khalasar, Jim Young, the Lady Olenna Tyrell, Lady De Winter, Cameo. You guys are awesome, and I could not do this without you. 7 blessings, friends.